Hello YouTube, hello, and we're back, of course. Today we're gonna do a Kunimitsu speed lab. Finally another speed lab, right? And it's gonna be for Kunimitsu. Now I'm gonna divide this video in different sections. 5 different sections for Kunimitsu. I'm gonna talk about Kunimitsu's neutral, I'm gonna talk about her full crouch game, and I'm gonna talk about her 3 different stances and the most common transitions to those stances and what options they use. So what this vid is gonna talk about, usually, is the most common options Kunimitsu is going to use. It's not going to cover everything, but it's going to cover the common things that you will see in your normal matches. Let's say ranked, for example. Right? So yeah, let's start. Let's start with Kunimitsu's neutral. So the advice I can give you guys in the neutral is whenever you are moving against Kunimitsu, I would advise you guys to do sidestep blocks a lot or just backdash a lot. Right? Depending on the character, you have to, keep a certain kind of distance. Like for example, Kazuya, this distance is okay. But sidestep blocks are going to be really good, so Kunimitsu won't be able to get in on you easily with wild running moves, let's say. Or some of the set moves, like set 2. So sidestep blocks. But I wouldn't recommend doing a straight up sidewalk, something like this, in the neutral, because you might get caught by a lot of stuff. And one of them is a very, very overtuned move, which is set 1+2. I will showcase that later. But, by the way, fun fact. So far, I've found one overtuned move, which is like way too powerful in all of the stances plus full crouch. I'm not too sure if it is in the neutral, but there are a lot of strong moves in general. I will cover all of them, obviously. But in the neutral, TLDR, sidestep block or backdash a lot and wait for the Kunimitsu to come to you and, annoy them by doing this. Because they will have to come to you and maybe mix you up with a full crouch. And if you do force them to do this, keep them out sometimes. Electrics are good, jabs are good, down forwards are good. Keep them out sometimes. That's in general in the neutral, what to expect in the neutral. If you want to expect something in particular in the neutral from the Kunimitsu player, something like wall running 2, example, right? Which is why I would tell you guys to sidestep block to avoid something like this. Maybe wall running 3, a little bit rarer, but it's something. Set moves, this, which because it covers distance, set 2. You'll also avoid this if you sidestep right. So sidestep right is usually going to be good in the neutral. And I think it's going to be easier to avoid this than the sidestep right. So it's going to be really, really good when it comes to that. Anyway, now the one move I did mention to not sidewalk is this right here. But when it comes to Kunimitsu, this is a very, very good move and a very common move they will use in the neutral. So they will just forward 3 1+2 like this, and you won't really be able to do anything about this. If you are sidewalking, you might get hit by this, so you have to be careful. Sometimes you will avoid it by doing the sidestep blocks I did mention, right? Or even the sidewalk might sometimes avoid it as well, but you have to time it. If you don't time it, something like this might happen, and that might hit you, or it blocks you. Right, so it's gonna be very difficult for you to actually deal with this, but mini sidestep blocks, like I just mentioned, sometimes will avoid this, sometimes it will. If you sidewalk, sometimes it can help as well, but a correctly timed sidestep usually will be a little bit better. But this is very hard to avoid, so I wouldn't really tell you guys to avoid this, right? It's gonna be very hard to avoid, and it's also safe, and it's a hit engager. Right, so this is a super, super strong move, and the one overtuned move, one of them anyway, that I talked about, is this one, set 1+2. From set, 1+2 is the overtuned move that Kunimitsu has. It's very strong, so you have to be aware of it in the neutral. Okay, that's neutral. Now let's talk about the full crouch game. When it comes to Kunimitsu's full crouch, I'm pretty sure most people already know. This is her overturned move from full crouch. Full crouch down 1+2, or full crouch 1+2. I don't know the exact input of this. But yeah, this move right here is a full crouch move that's -12. On block, so it's just a wall standing 4/4 or 12 frame Punisher, depending on your character. And after that, she goes into backturn, which mixes you up instantly. Right? And for the full crouch game, one advice I can give you guys is that either one, don't let her go into full crouch because she needs to be close, right? That's why I advised you guys to do backdashes a lot too. If you backdash a lot, she's gonna be forced to do something like this, let's say, and then mix you up. Take a little bit of risk. And you have to force them to do this risk in the neutral. It's something like this, and then mix you up. You have to expect stuff like this if you're playing defensively, obviously, right? Or they might just run up into you and then duck in your face. So that's why keep out can be important. But whenever this does happen, you are getting mixed up. This low right here, you can't really sidestep it most of the time. And the mix-up is also very good with wall standing 2-1, wall standing 3, QCF 1+2, because they can just duck and do this as well. It's also a mix-up, especially at the wall. It's a wall splat, you have to be very, very careful. And some other moves like I think it's up to the +4, up back to the +4, yeah, up back to the +4, this one. So you have to be careful with the mix-ups. You are getting mixed up, but sometimes you have to be okay with eating the low. But now, when you do eat the low, this is the important part. When you do eat the low, what happens next? When you're eating the low, it's gonna be another mix-up. Now we can transition and talk about a stance. Let's talk about back turn, because this is a perfect transition. From full crouch, you will usually go into a back turn mix-up because you're gonna eat this move. You'll 100% eat this move. Then when you do eat it, you're gonna get mixed up by either a down 2 here, a down 4 here, or a back turn throw. Because back turn throw is a mix-up for Kunimitsu, by the way. So a back turn throw like this, and the back turn throw like what's the other? But that one, there you go. That's a mix-up. So you have to guess either 1 or 1 plus 2. You actually can tell which one she uses if you practice a lot, because the 1 or 2 break, this is 1 or 2, has the green tracking signs, while the 1 plus 2 break does not. But good luck figuring that out in the actual match. So it is going to be a mix-up between this throws and the 2 other lows. So you are going to get mixed up by them and either something like this mid, but the most common option you're going to see is going to be something like back turned 1 plus 2. Now the overturned move from backturned, excuse me, what I talked about is the backturned 1 plus 2. Backturned 1 plus 2 is the overturned move. So backturned 1 plus 2 here basically does everything. So when you get hit by this and they do backturned 1 plus 2, there is literally nothing you can do about this. So what happens here is if you try to sidestep, nothing happens. If you try to sidestep the other way, nothing happens. If you try to sidewalk either side, also nothing happens. You are going to get hit no matter what. The sidestep block might sometimes work, but it doesn't really accomplish anything by how little you're sidestepping. It won't really do anything. So it's something that you're gonna have to accept blocking. Unless you play someone like Leroy, who can parry 2 weapons at the same time. Jin can also parry weapons, by the way. Right? But the thing is, Jin can't parry twice in a row. Leroy can. Someone else might be able to as well, but Leroy is just one example. What you can do also is power crush through this. But, fun fact, your power crush has to be faster than 18 frames for this to work. Because she, after this, can block normally. As you guys can notice, it's not punish. I do a power crush, she just blocks. So Kazuya's power crush is 20 frames fast. If your power crush is 20, 19, or 18, it's not gonna work and they'll be able to block it like this. If it's 17 or faster, then it's gonna work. So it's gonna be an option for this move if you want to, hard read it, let's say with a power crush. But most of the time, I would advise you guys to just block this. Just block it. And remember, this is -2. -2 means they will do most likely a jab string, like a G-clef, or maybe something else, and they'll be able to move, backdash, whatever they want, they'll be able to do, so be careful. Be careful, know the frames. This is their overturned move, and you will see this a lot, and good players will abuse this a lot as well, as long as this doesn't get changed. But yeah, very strong. And as I said, you're getting mixed up in backturn most of the time. The only exception to this is whenever you have plus frames. So in this situation, you're -5. Right? You are -5 and backturn. The similar situation is in heat when you block this. This is also -5 and backturn. This is exactly the same situation, so the same backturn mix-up that I already explained applies here. But don't need to explain anything else. But there are some situations when you're actually a little bit plus, like when you block 4-2, you're +3 here. In this situation, it's a bit different, because whenever something like this happens into 1 plus 2, now this 1 plus 2 becomes more steppable. So it's gonna be a better option to sidestep left into block. Sometimes you will get caught, depending on how much you sidestep. But yeah, basically sidestep left, and then try to punish this. One fact, very, very important fact about this. This recovers very quickly. Very, very quickly. If I remember testing this, this recovers 2 frames faster than electric dust. If I remember correctly, I tested this, and it recovers very quickly. So you have to punish with something fast. Back 1-2, 1-1-2, 12 frame punisher, 13 frame punisher, something like that. If you want to electric it, it's gonna be very difficult, basically is what I'm saying. So yeah, if you're plus, while she goes in back turn, this is just one example. Another example can be something like 4-2 plus 4, you're also +5 here instead of -5. Right? So you can actually sidestep left in those situations. Other things you have to expect in back turn is all of the lows as I talked about, and the one is gonna be a check if you try to sidestep in those situations, for example. Right? Sometimes this might track you. Most of the time this will track you, actually. One thing, very important thing to remember, is that this is plus. When you block the double high, This is plus 3. But you can duck the second hit. Let me just demonstrate that. There's also a mid here, so be a little bit careful. But you can duck this. And then punish it. So yeah, this is important. But backturned mix-ups, usually it's that. More or less, it's that. Right now, let's go into set stance. Set, I already mentioned a little bit, is basically this little dash right here. Forward 3. So this little dash, the most common situations you will see is either in the neutral, like I already explained, something like this, right? They will do something like that. Or if they don't want to do the 1+2, they might just do the 2 to maybe counter launch you sometimes. Or they will not do anything, just forward 3 and hold it down to go into full crouch and mix you up. So these are the most common options you'll see. And when it comes to forward 3 into nothing, into full crouch mix-up, if you let them do this, you're just going to get mixed up. As I already explained, full crouch is just a mix-up, more or less, right? But if you do keep her out or backdash a lot, sometimes this might not even be enough for them to just instantly mix you up. So if you do something like a lot of backdashes, sometimes it might not be enough based on the spacing that you have, right? If I'm very far away, they might not be able to do it. Something like that. So backdashing a lot can really help, but most of the time this will cover enough distance for you to get mixed up. So yeah, be careful about it. Be careful about it. What you can also do is just press a button, as I said. Just press the button, keep her out, don't let her mix you up. Usually it's going to be good to press something safe, but if you don't have something safe, anything, down forward 2, any kind of keep out, check, you can just do that. So, and the other way you can also see set most of the time is going to be her forward 4. So her forward 4 into set is actually +3 for her. And the most common option you'll see to check you when it comes to buttons, let's say I press something, is going to be the 2. So the 2 will also track you to one side, which is sidestep left, but it will not track you to the other side, which is sidestep right. So again, set stance in this particular situation, you have to sidestep to the right to avoid this. Obviously, Kunimitsu has options to actually stop you from doing that, which is the overtuned move, which I already talked about, which is 1+2. Because if you step right, this will actually catch you. But step right block is something I would recommend, even though it's a little bit difficult to do, because the block will still avoid the 2, while also blocking this. Right, so it's not too bad to do something like this. But it's -5, as I said, this move is very overtuned. If you do get hit by this, you are going to get heat engaged. Or if she's already in heat, you're going to get heat dashed. Right, so we have to be very, very careful about this. The other thing you can also do is the Lord and Savior down jab, which is, you know, you just do it. Down jab, it just works. Even in the backturn situation, you can down jab, but I wouldn't recommend it too much because you are still getting mixed up more or less by the 1+2. If they don't like using the 1+2, down jab gets better in the backturn situation, but in this situation, you can also down jab. But as I said, if you press, you're gonna get counter hit by the 2. And if you want to avoid both, you power crush. You need just power crush if you want to avoid both. But also, very, very important, set also has set 3. Set 3 is something you will also sometimes see in the neutral. Not too much, but sometimes you will see it. But if they do a down jab, they will beat it here. But if you do a power crush, you're going to get launched here. Right? Very, very important to know this. And set 3, whenever they do it in the neutral, like I already said, they might sometimes do this as well. This one right here. Remember that it's launch punishable. It might change frames depending on the distance, so it's -16 at the worst, but sometimes it might change frames, so it's going to be better to play it safe and do something like a twin pistons punish or a 15 frame punish can work as well. But for us specifically, I wouldn't really advise wall staying too much unless you're very confident it's going to work. But yeah, these are the set stance mix-ups more or less, right? The most overtuned ones is going to be set 1+2. The other common options is going to be set 2 and set 3. And the crouch cancel. Right? There's a lot of things that you can also expect from set, to be fair, like forward 3 to cancel, this kind of stuff. A lot of things can happen because, you know, it's Kunimitsu and she has a lot of variety when it comes to options, when it comes to stuff like this. But yeah, now that's the second stance. Now let's talk about the third stance. Third stance is Katon Stance, this stance right here. So this stance, usually when you will see this, is gonna be either you just see it like this to instantly start mixing you up. Sometimes some Kunimitsu players like to do this, but this is not going to be that common. The most common ways you'll see the stance is going to be in 2 strings. One is going to be 1-1 into this stance right here, or 2-2 into this stance right here. These are going to be the most common options. Now, what I would suggest against these strings particularly is whenever they do the string and you block the string, I would advise you guys to sidestep right into a block most of the time. Because these strings have a follow-ups. This follow-up, for example, is safe, right? It's -9 mid, but you can't sidestep to the left. You have to sidestep to the right and then punish it. The Kunimitsu player does have options to actually beat you with a move that will track you both sides, but is punishable instead. If you guys notice, this comes from above, the teleportation, and the other one is horizontal. So if it's vertical, like this one, you can actually punish it, but I would not advise to use back 1-2, because sometimes the frames change, as you guys saw. So 1-1-2 is going to be a little bit better. The sidestep block, it's good. It's a little bit difficult to actually sidestep block, but it is possible. It is definitely possible. And you will avoid both if you sidestep block, but if you want to, let's say, guess, you sidestep right for the other one and just block for this one, and you punish this one. That's how it works. But if you do sidestep right, then you'll have to think about something like 1-1-1+2, right? And the 1-1-1+2 is also something that's very, very important, because 1-1-1+2 forces you to not press buttons here either. So do not press buttons in these situations. If you do press a button, let's say a jab, you are gonna get floated, or something like a mid, you are gonna get floated. Okay, not floated, but literally punished. Your mid is gonna go through because of teleportation, and you're gonna get launched. Something like a 1-2 or a 1-1 might work here decently well, but you're still gonna get hit by something like the 2 option, which I already explained, that will also hit you. Right, that will also hit you. Because this option, this right here, which I also explained, you have to sidestep to the right, does beat buttons. You won't be able to really press into it. So be careful about this. Especially on the teleportation, 1-1 teleportation. Now, if you don't do anything, let's say I either don't do anything or sidestep to the right, what are the mix-ups here? The thing is, about Katon Stance, is that the mix-up here is usually gonna be either this low, which you can, by the way, reliably punish. It has a high follow-up, so it has this high follow-up right here. But whenever you do block it, you can always punish it with a while staying 4-4. I'm not too sure if a 12 frame punish is gonna work. I don't have a 12 frame punish for Gauss, but the 13 frame punish does not work. I think a 12 frame punish most likely will trade. So be very careful about your option, but if you want to 100% punish this, you can do while staying 4-4. If they do not finish the high, let's say they just don't feel like finishing the high, it's -16, but it changes frames, right? Something like this. So I would suggest to use a 13 frame punisher here. You can launch, technically speaking, but the changing frames happens a lot depending on the distance. So 13 frame punisher, something like twin pistons or anything else, it can work really well. That's it for the low mix-up, right? But when it comes to the mid mix-up here, there is this, which is gonna be mostly used, in my opinion, anyway. So this move is a plus frame mid that has the same, very, very similar frames with this low. So if you don't sidestep this right here, if you don't sidestep this, you're just gonna be minus. But sidestep right, like I already explained after 1-1, is really good because you're gonna avoid all of these options. The low you won't really avoid, but it's not really that scary. It's not that scary, right? So this is not that scary of a situation, unless they start playing tricks on you with a 1+2 backturned. Because this stance also goes backturned, and this stance also goes into set stance. So all the things I mentioned with set stance and backturned stance also apply here if you let the Kunimitsu player mix you up in those. Right? Okay, now I did mention that every stance has an overtuned move. What's the overtuned move here? The overtuned move here is very, very simple. It's 1-2. This move is very overtuned. This is super, super strong. This is one of the strongest moves she has. So, as I already mentioned, set 1+2, backturned 1+2, and the Katon 1-2. These are the overtuned moves she has, and yeah, full crouch this. 4 overtuned moves so far, and these are from each stances and full crouch. Why is this so strong? The reason this is so strong is because this is a safe high mid, right? So you won't really be able to block this or avoid this unless you keep sidewalking here. If you sidestep right block, like I told you guys, you will actually block this, right? If you sidestep right into a button, it's a little bit too scary. You might get caught by a teleport, let's say. Right? So this is super, super strong, and it's also very delayable, and it's kind of confirmable as well. So you have to be very careful when it comes to this move. But the biggest thing about this, why it's so strong, this is not the biggest thing about this, by the way. It's already really good, right? It's really, really good because it's also a heat engager, which is crazy. But the best thing about this move, why it's so good, is because it can also be used after 2-2-1, right? As I already mentioned, 2-2 is also one of the moves you can use. The same mind games apply. The extra step about 2-2 is that it has its own follow-ups. Just like 1-1, to be fair, but 2-2's follow-ups works a little bit differently, like this one, for example, right? You have the option to duck this, right? You just duck it and punish it if you do have the read. But you have to be very, very careful about the stance follow-ups. Like, it's a very, very similar mind game, but the thing about 2-2 and why it's so good is because 2-2 can be used as a punisher with something like this, which will mix you up immediately afterwards, right? Something like this. It can be really good. Now, why is the 1-2 so good? I derailed a little bit. The 1-2 is really good because it can be cancelled. So this cancel instantly goes into a full crouch. So imagine something like this. You get punished by 2-2. Let's say you get punished by 2-2. 1-2 happens. This is a check, by the way. So you won't press or sidestep anything, or sidestep or press, whatever, right? It's check. And if it works, they'll continue it and get a heat engager because it's kind of confirmable. If it doesn't, they will cancel it into full crouch and then mix you up. So you have to expect something like this. You get hit by this, let's say, then block something like this. And when you block it, they might cancel it and go into a full crouch mix-up. And as I already explained, the full crouch mix-up goes into a backturned stance, which is another overtuned move, which is backturned 1+2, and you're getting mixed up again. So this is very, very strong. You have to look out for something like this. 1-1 into 1-2 cancel into full crouch mix-up. This can happen a lot. The 1-2 from Katon Stance is a very, very strong move that everyone has to look out for. Okay, this is it for the stances, mostly, and the most common transitions for the stances as well. But I will mention a little bit about heat. Not too much to mention. I already mentioned heat up 1+2, which basically creates the same mind game as the full crouch low on hit. It's -5 for you, and Kunimitsu using backturn, so you're gonna get mixed up by something like 1+2, backturn down 2, backturn down 4, all of those moves, right? You can't really avoid them most of the time. I mean, you can kinda avoid maybe this if you sidestep, but this will hit you and this will hit you, so you have to be very careful. You still have to be very, very careful. Something like a backdash duck can be a very, very good thing to do if you can avoid 1+2 in the 3-frame window that we have, but it's going to be very difficult to do something like this. Okay, and for her heat smash, her heat smash is a very generic heat smash. It's fast, it's +3, it's not that much plus. So yeah, it's just a very generic heat smash, but the thing it has is that it's fast, 14 frames fast. But yeah, I think that's going to be it. Mostly, this is the most common options you're gonna see. There's a lot of niche stuff. It's a lot of strong moves. A little bit honorable mention I'm gonna talk about as well is gonna be down 1. Down 1 in the neutral is also very, very powerful because it's a +6 move on hit, +3 on the block, so it's actually a +3 mid. And on the counter hit, it guarantees while standing 2-1, and even on block, it goes into a full crouch mix-up. So this is a very, very strong move that you will see a lot, but it's easy to deal with if you're sidestepping a lot. Right? If you're sidestepping a lot, this is not going to be that hard to deal with. But on some situations, like after a wall combo, it's going to be hard to sidestep something like this. Right? Sidestep right or left, both of them will work mostly anyway. So you have to be careful about this. Just remember, down 1 is plus, and it goes to her full crouch, which will mix you up. If you press something here, you can avoid the mix-up, maybe something down jab, wall standing 4, wall standing 1+2 for Gauss, doesn't matter. Right, you can kind of avoid the mix-up, but the Kunimitsu player can bait this and just, you know, pressure you for it. Not pressure you, but punish you for it. Or just check you, like with a wall standing 2. Something like this, for example, this into 2-1, is very, very strong. This is super strong. Because this will track you both ways, right? This just tracks both ways. And it trades with a down jab. This is super, super good. So you have to be very careful about how you move here. Sidestep block is going to be decent, it's not going to be too bad, but this is also kind of confirmable. Be very careful about this. Good players will use this well. So down 1, honorable mention, very strong, but it can be avoided if you just sidestep a lot. There's going to be some situations when you won't be able to, but yeah. So YouTube, thank you for watching. As always, guys, big thank you for watching. Hopefully this helped. Really hope this helped. If you guys have any tips against Kunimitsu as well, let me know and let everyone else know in the comments as well. So yeah, thank you once again, and I'll see everyone next time. Till then.